Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I want to talk about the different Coldflame items that you can buy during the WoW 20th anniversary event with your different bronze celebration tokens. And all these different items are basically themed after the Blizzard employees' armors and rewards that they get in real life. And I want to explain how you can make this a little bit more of a full set using over appearances from previous expansions. So this is really something that I hope will help you use these different pieces with your transmog, and hopefully you will get some good ideas of transmog sets that you can do using these different appearances. Okay, so first we have this transmog set right here, and with this one I really feel like all the different pieces match really well together. And so in my opinion, this is really one of my favorite ones. And what's interesting is that some of these pieces are cosmetic items, which means that you can basically use them on any of your characters. So here, the main pieces of gear you will need include these different shoulders, the Azure Renewal Mantle, which are cosmetics. You will be able to get them when doing a quest line in the Azure Span. This is from Dragonflight. And then when you're doing so, you will also receive this tabard, the Azure Renewal Tabard, which is the one that I'm using right here. I do really like the fact that you have the crystals that really match really well the crystals on the crown. And overall, the colors also are very linked to the crown. So I do think it's working super well. And I think already with these three pieces of gear, you will be able to do a lot of different transmog sets. Then next to that, we also have the Moonlit Tunic of Unrelenting Justice. This is part of the set you get when completing the Trading Post monthly reward for 12 months in a row. And then you get these different appearances. And so this is the chest piece from this set. And then finally, after that, we also have here, as you can see, we have the rest of the sets. And this time it will be for plate characters. So we have the Starless Gauntlets, Starless Girdle, the Legguards, and the War Boots. And basically you get all these different items in Dragonflight, and these are random drops from some of the different mobs in the Zaralek Cavern. And I believe you can also receive some of these appearances when doing different type of quests. So overall, I really feel like this set works super well, and I really like how all the different pieces complement the different Coldflame appearances. And so again, here normally you have all the different list of items that you need if you want to do the same transmog on some of your characters. Then we have a very similar appearance, and this time this is really only for play characters, because here we are using all the different pieces from the set that I talked about just before, and these are all the different pieces of gear you can get in the Zaralek Cavern from all the different random mobs and also from some quests in Dragonflight. And so all these different items are only for played characters. But I do really think that all of that works super well together. And again, I think everything is pretty well adjusted when you put all these different pieces together. So again, if you want to reproduce this one, it's not going to be too difficult. You just need to do a little bit of content in the Zaralek Cavern, and hopefully you will be able to get some of these pieces of gear. After that, we have another plate set, and so this time it will look like that. So here, this is basically the full set that you were able to get during the first season of Dragonflight, and this is the heroic version of this set. And I believe most of these pieces are only available for Death Knight, so most likely you will be able to do that on a Death Knight. And of course, as you can't use the shield, you will be able to use the two one-handed swords, which I think it looks pretty cool. So here again, as you can see, you will have all these different pieces of gear from this main Death Knight set. And again, I believe some of them are also available for non-Death Knight play characters. But most likely, if you want to do this exact replica, you will have to be playing on a Death Knight. And again, I do think it looks pretty good overall. And of course, if you want, you can also do the exact same thing with the warrior set from the same raid, the Vault of the Incarnates in heroic mode. And here, as you can see, again, I think it matches really well the Coldflame appearances, and overall it looks super cool as well. But again, for this one, you will mainly need to be playing on a warrior in order to get the full appearance. Then we have this set right here, which basically is something normally you can do on any character because all these different pieces of gear are cosmetic items, and so it means that you can use them on any of your characters. So in the model viewer, it doesn't seem like it matches really well, but in game, it actually does really match super well. The colors are the same. And overall, I really like the look of this set. So here, basically, you will simply need to get the different Coldflame items, and then you will need to get the Moonlit of Unrelenting Justice set. And so as you can see, when you put everything together, you end up with this really cool set. And here, of course, again, you can always decide to add different type of tabards and other things, such as, for instance, the one we saw before. It's really up to you to see how you want to make it work. But overall, I think just with the Moonlit set and the Coldflame items, it really works super well, in my opinion. So again, it's completely up to you to see if this is the type of things you like or not. But what I find interesting with this set again is that you can really use it on any of your characters. And this is something personally that I find really cool. And here again, you can mix and match. So for instance, I'm still using most of the Unrelenting Justice set, but I'm also adding the different Azure ones that I already mentioned. And as you can see, I do think you can make it work. So it's really up to you to see a little bit how you like it and if you think some of these pieces can match together. And you can always try to find other ways to make it work. But in general, you can really use all these different cosmetic items and try to find a transmog set that can work for any of your characters. Then we have a cloth set, and as you can see, this is this set right here. So again, this one I'm a huge fan. The only issue with this set is that you will first of all only really be able to use it on a cloth character because a lot of the pieces are for cloth players. And also, most of these different pieces are actually only for mages and alliance mages in particular. So it means that if you are playing on an alliance mage, you can do that pretty easily. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit tricky. But all in all, I think it works super well together, and I really love this set. So here, if you want to do this full appearance, let me just zoom in a little bit, you will need a few things. So first, for the shoulders, as we've already seen before, you will need to get the Azure Renewal Mantles, which is again, these different cosmetic items shoulders from Dragonflight. Then for the chest piece, you will need to get the Cruel Gladiator Silk Robe. As you can see, this is only for mages and this is for Alliance players. And so this one is from Legion, so you will need to buy it from the different PvP vendors. And then you also have the gauntlets and the belt. And so all these different items, again, will be from PvP from Legion. And I also added these little boots right here, but you don't really need to use these in particular. You can use a little bit like any type of boots. But these ones are also from Dragonflight, and they're from the Zarai Caverns. So again, if you want to get the full appearance, you will most likely need to play on a mage, and especially an Alliance mage, but I really wanted to show it to you anyway, because I do think that this set looks super cool. Then after that, we have another set that is going to be mainly for cloth players, so it looks like that. Here again, we are using some of the pieces from the Vault of the Incarnates, and these are some of the Warlock tier pieces in heroic difficulty. And the rest of the set is mainly transmog items, so it means that you can pretty easily replicate these with other shoulders and also with another belt. But overall, again, I think this works pretty well together. So here again, as I mentioned, as you can see, we are using the shoulders, the gloves, belt, also the boots and the legs from the Warlock set from the Vault of the Incarnates. And then for the chest piece, we're using an Arden Wield cosmetic chest piece. So normally something again that you can use on any of your characters. And all in all, I do think that again, this set is pretty nice. But of course, you can pretty easily, if you want to, like just change and use maybe other appearances. So for instance here, if you still want to use most of these sets, you can maybe use other tier sets. Let's say for instance, the mage one. And as you can see, overall, any of the different appearances from the Vault of the Incarnates in heroic difficulty will usually match pretty well the colors and the appearance of the Coldflame appearances. So in general, I think you can pretty easily just adjust this appearance right here. And of course, you can also just mix and match a little bit all these different appearances I already showed. So here, for instance, as you can see, you're taking some of the mage sets, some of the warlock sets, because sometimes you have some PCs that are available for all the different classes. And so just try to see what can work the best for you and for your taste. And try to just maybe take a little bit of inspiration from some of these different sets that I'm showing in this video. Then again, for clove characters, you have this one right here, and I think this one works pretty well together. And I again love the fact that you have these a little bit like crystals around the entire set. I think this is cool when you can have kind of the same theme on all your different pieces of gear. So here it will be a mix of different things. Again, you have the Azure Renewal Mantle and the Azure Renewal Tabard. You then have the Moonlit Tunic and also the Moonlit Threads, so the boots and the chest piece. And then the rest of these items are the different BOE items that you can get in the Zahara Cavern for clove characters. And so normally this is something that you can get pretty easily. So most of these items are from Dragonflight. And again, when you put everything together, I think it looks pretty cool. And for instance, that's what it will look like on Night Elf. So again, I think these type of appearances actually really go super well together. Then we have this set right here that will mainly be for shamans. And as you can see, in my opinion, it looks really nice. So we are using again most of the different appearances from the Vault of the Incarnates and mainly some of the appearances for the shaman set. So we have the shoulders, the chest piece, the gloves, and the legs that are from the shaman set. Then we also have these boots right here that are from another boss from the Vault of the Incarnates, and also this waist. And finally, the weapon is also something that you will be able to get in the Vault of the Incarnates. So I think overall this set works super well, and I do really like how everything again match really well together. So sadly, you will mainly have to have a shaman in order to enjoy this set, but still, at least this is something that you can keep in mind. And of course, some of these pieces are also available for other male classes. So try to see what you can do, and hopefully you will be able to create a really good set on your own. And of course, if you prefer, you can use the robe option for your shaman, and I still think it looks nice with this other option. So just something again for you to remember. And again, I do think this is a pretty cool looking shaman set. Then for your evokers, you also have this one right here. So again, most of the pieces will be for evokers, but the shoulders are something you can use on any of your male characters, and the chest piece is a cosmetic item. So really, it's only the bottom pieces, and again, you can easily replace them with the ones for your class. So here, again, as you can see, you have this one, but you have a BOE version of this item for any male characters. Then you have the Moonlit Tunic of Unrelenting Justice that I already mentioned. And then you have these other pieces of gear, and some of them will be available for other classes. And I do think this one also works pretty well. And of course, for the staff, this is one of the staffs that you can get in the Vault of the Incarnates. Then for shamans, again, you can use the new Tier 2 remastered appearances you can buy from the WoW 20th anniversary event in order to make all of that match. And I do think it looks pretty cool when you put all of that together. So again, this is something sadly this time you will only be able to really do on a shaman. But overall, I think it looks pretty cool. And for the weapon, it's this one right here, which is the Forlorn Artificer's Mace. And then you also have this version, which is a little bit of a mix of all the other versions that we've seen up to now. And so, as you can see, you will have, for instance, some of the different heroic pieces of gear from the Vault of the Incarnate sets for shamans. You also have the Azure Renewal Tabard, the shoulders from the Tier 2 remastered set for shamans, and then some of the other items that you can actually use on almost any of your different play characters. So overall, I think all of that really works pretty well together. And when it comes to level characters, of course, you can do the same. You can do the same. You can, for instance, use some of the different appearances from the Vault of the Incarnates in heroic difficulty. But overall, there's not as many options, and also sadly, you won't be able really to use the shield or the one-handed sword. And so I think it doesn't make as much sense. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think about these different sets. If you also have other suggestions maybe that you want to share with people watching the video. I always find it funny to try and find PCs that can match over complete different appearances and try to put everything into transmog sets. This is really one of the favorite things that I like to do in the game. And so with these new appearances, this is definitely something that I was really looking forward to do. And hopefully these different sets will inspire you and you will be able to make some really good ones on your own. And remember, of course, with the set, you also have the mount that you can get pretty easily. And this mount, the Coldflame Tempest mount, is something that you will be able to then use with this appearance in order to really get the full package. So I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great day. Bye!